to another lawnfawn video. Today we are introducing our Easter party stamp set and its coordinating dies, and also our new spring sprig dies too. First up, we're going to take a really quick look at our spring sprig, and I love this mini die set so much. It's got the little sprig, flowers, and then the flower centers. You can either layer those little flowers on or not, and you can put as many flowers as you want depending on what look that you're going for. One of the things that you can do with the sprig is actually create a wreath with it. So if you layer 4 of them like this, you get this really pretty wreath, which would be gorgeous on a card. You can also use them in the corners of your card, just the top 2 corners, or maybe all 4 corners, especially with some little flowers on there, would be absolutely adorable. So next up, we're going to switch over to looking at our Easter party stamp set. So here we've got this cute little boy in his little jumping bunny costume. We have a little kid in a chick costume, and then our little flower girl. We have a basket and also a little leaf for the flower girl, and then 2 little flowers that they can hold. We also have a little jelly bean in both open and solid, and some really cute sentiments. So we have a happy, and then we have Easter, or we have spring, and of course an exclamation point for those. And then we have wishing you a very happy that you can use with Easter or spring. I'm using my Copic markers to add a little color here to my characters, and I'm using just some very light grays for that bunny because I want him to be white, but by putting the really light gray around the edges, it makes that white pop even more. One of the things that I love about these Easter party characters is they work really, really well with our costume party characters. So you can mix and match these guys with the costume party and get some really cute little kids dressed up in adorable costumes. And then next up, we've got our my little rosy cheeks, of course. And then we've got our basket. So we have E31 and E34 for the basket. And then I'm going to just color the flowers in pink and purple, but any color to match your card would be great. And that's the other really great thing about this little flower girl is you can color her flower petals any color depending on what pattern paper or what kind of look you want for your card. In this case, I'm going to work with some purples for her and then give her the little yellow flower center there around her face and then color in her little hair and face too. She's just so cute, it just cracks me up. I like to color her dress green because that way she looks like kind of like the green stem coming out of the flower, and I think it's really cute. And then I'm also going to give her some little green shoes, but I think brown shoes would be cute too, kind of like a little flower pot or dirt. And then we have our coordinating dies, which you can bend apart at the tabs, or you can use your wire snips to separate them. I'm going to take those dies and line them up with my stamped images, holding in place with some low-tack tape, and then I'm going to run it through my die cut machine, getting some perfectly cut out little images perfect for putting on a card. So here you can see just how cute they are when they're just popped out of the dies. I just can't get over how adorable these guys are. And here you can see how they can hold little flowers or the baskets. You could put the leaf behind the flower girl and just create some really cute scenes. So here I have my really rainbow paper, and I'm going to pick that purple paper there. I've die cut it with a stitched rectangle, my largest 5.5 by 4.25 one, and then I use my outside in stitched heart to die cut a heart-shaped opening that has a stitched detail. I've trimmed down a piece of cardstock to 5.5 by 4.25, and I am using my Distress Oxides and Broken China, and I'm just starting off the paper and going on, and I'm only using the one color, just blending that color on to the cardstock, and I think it's such a beautiful color, it really is. And then here I'm going to take my little sprayer, and I'm just going to tap the edge of it, so just so I get some little water drops. And so you'll see that those are going to react with the ink, and then create a really, really cool look, making the sky look a little more special, especially since I just used one color for the sky. So here I used my Meadow border for that grass, and I die cut some Cilantro cardstock. Then I made a little tick mark because I wanted to see kind of how tall I wanted it to be, so the tick mark told me how tall, and then I trimmed it off. And then I'm going to repeat the same thing with my piece that was cut with the Grassy border die. And by layering the 2 different styles of grass, I think it looks really, really cool. So now that I have my grass there lined up on the bottom, I'm going to add some adhesive to my heart-shaped opening window because I want the grass to be on that window. So it's going to kind of hold that grass in place, and then you can see how they're going to layer on top of each other. I'm adding a little white pen detail to my little tulips here that I've die cut, and those tulips are from the Meadow border die set that I've die cut from some sticky note cardstock. And I'm going to add some glue on those, and then I'm going to add some tulips there to the left side of my card. And this card is a recreation of a card by Jess that I just absolutely fell in love with, so thank you so much for letting me create this card on the video, Jess. Now there I've got my tulips down, and now I'm going to add some foam squares to my heart-shaped opening so that there's some nice dimension between the two layers of grass, kind of creating a cool window. I'm going to give my little flower girl a flower to hold, and then I'm going to layer her right in the center with some foam squares. I've got out my perfectly plaid spring paper, and I'm going to use the yellow plaid there for a sun. So I'm using the sun from Spring Showers. I'm going to die cut that paper and then layer that sun on there. So I've got some foam squares on the left side and then just some glue on the right side so that it lays flat with everything. I used my Wishes die here to die cut some Guava Cardstock, and I also used a sentiment banner to die cut some white paper, and I'm going to stamp Happy Spring from that set. Now you'll see that banner is way too long, so I'm going to line up the other end of that banner with it, kind of getting the perfect sizing, and then I can hold that in place with my tape and run it through my die cut machine, and it's going to give me a custom sized banner that's going to be perfect for my card. So you'll see there, after I run it through the die cut machine, when it pops out, it looks like the perfect sized banner. So I'm going to layer that Happy Spring there and then add some liquid glue to my Wishes and layer that on top. So just like that. Next, I'll add my little dot for the eye, and my sentiment is all done for the card. I'm using a Wink of Stella pen to add a little subtle glitter to both the Wishes and the little flower that she's holding too. And I just love that when you move the card around, it's kind of got this little shimmer to it. I'm creating a card base that's the standard 5.5 by 4.25. I'm going to add some adhesive to that and then layer my whole card panel right on top. And this card is just so sweet. It's adorable. You could use it for anything, for thank you, even birthday if you stamp happy birthday inside. So it just makes me smile. Next up, I have my Gotta Have gingham paper, and I'm going to use my outside-in stitched egg stackable. I was kind of in this like window-shaped mood. So I'm going to line up that egg and die cut that, and now I've got that stitched opening in an egg shape instead of a heart shape. This time I am using mermaid ink, some of the lawnfawn ink, to do some ink blending with my ink blending tool. And once again, I'm just doing one color, nothing fancy, just kind of blending it on. And then since I had my little sprayer out, I'm going to go ahead and do the same technique I did before. I'm going to add my little water and then tap it and just get some water drops on there just to give it a little bit of detail. Then next up, I cut some grass here, some white cardstock with my simple grassy hillsides there, and I'm going to go ahead and add some ink to that too. So I'm going to use some celery stick ink to add the ink, and that way it's going to really coordinate nicely with my ink blended sky. And I just love how the top of the grass picks up more of the color. I think it just makes it look so pretty. Now I'm creating a standard size card base at 5.5 by 4.25, and I'm going to layer that sky piece that we just created right on top. And then I'm going to trim down my grass piece because it was a little bit too tall there. And then I can layer that grass right on as well. I'm going to add some adhesive to the back part of my egg opening panel piece, and then I'm going to take my cute little Easter party characters and have them sticking out from that egg. And that way the adhesive is going to kind of hold them in place so that then later I can add some foam squares. So I'm going to kind of stick them out, kind of looks like they're kind of peeking out from the behind the egg. And then I can add all of my foam squares on there and then layer that on top of my card base. I'm also going to add some foam squares to my little bunny character. And then once again, I'm going to do the same thing. So I already had that one die out, that one sentiment banner die. So I die cut some more white cardstock, but once again, it was a little bit too long. So I'm creating a little custom sized piece again. So I'm going to line up that die with that little tick mark, run it through my die cut machine, and now I have a shorter banner that's the right size for my card. I'm going to stamp Have a Happy Spring on there, and then I can layer that onto my card base. And you can see just how cute these little guys are. I love them peeking out from the behind the egg, and I just love creating these window cards. They're just so fun. Now it's time to create something with that Sprig die set. So I'm going to layer some sticky note cardstock onto my card base, and then I've die cut some white paper with my quilted backdrop, and I added glue to the back, and then I'm going to layer that on top, letting the yellow kind of peek through those openings. I think that just looks so pretty and springy. I've die cut some mermaid cardstock with a stitched rectangle, and I have 3 cilantro spring sprigs. And I've added some glue to one because I'm going to layer these in kind of like a little U shape. So I'm going to add some glue to one end and then add glue to the other, and then I can start adding my flowers on. So I'm kind of placing them randomly, letting there be some areas of the green peeking out and kind of keeping them evenly spaced. I'm kind of starting on each end and then going towards the middle, deciding what I think is going to look nice. And then I could add add some glue to the flower and then drop those tiny little centers on. Now they're pretty tiny, so I definitely recommend adding glue to the center of the flower first and then dropping your little piece on. And then I'm just using my little pokey tool there to help me get that little flower center in place. And so I'm going to go ahead and add flower centers to all of these cute little flowers. And I love this little kind of spring wreath that we're creating. It's just so cute. And I love that from one tiny die set, you can get such a cool look. I'm stamping the Happy Easter sentiment from the Easter Party stamp set, and then I'm going to layer my piece, not upside down. I'm glad I didn't put it upside down. And then I'm going to add a bunch of glue to my little spring sprig piece, and then I can layer that on top. And what I really like about that U shape is it kind of highlights a stamped image. So in that case, I used the Easter Party character, but I also created one with the Some Bunny character. So you could really use this little spring wreath and highlight some cute stamped images and make a bunch of cards that kind of have a similar look. I love that with one medium stamp set, we were able to get so many different looks from it and so many cute and happy cards. And of course, we have some awesome cards by the design team. I love this egg-shaped card by Shari. It's just so cute, and I love that plaid sky. And then Latricia created a rainbow of little flower girls, and it just makes me smile. It's so adorable. Then we have a really cute card by Lynette with all of the little Easter Party characters kind of hanging out with that rainbow paper at the bottom. I just love. I love how Nicole layered the little flower girl with the new Simply Celebrate flowers. They're such a cute match together. And then I love this card by Lizzie. I love how she created her own custom pattern paper with the little flower stamps from the set. I love how Elena decorated her Easter egg in the back there with the Gotta Have Gingham paper. That's just so sweet. And then here's the gorgeous card by Yanea that inspired me to create mine. And then the gorgeous card by Jessica that inspired me to create the other one. I just love this, and I love getting inspired by my friends, or sometimes even making cards just like my friends because they're just so sweet. I love this card by Ivy. I love that really cute plaid sky. And then I love how Jen put the little flower girl into the flower pot from Little Flowers, which is just adorable. Audrey did some gorgeous coloring. Oh my gosh, I just love the little lineup of those little flower girls. And then Lynette blew me away with this gorgeous spring sprig card. It's just beautiful. So I cannot wait to see what you guys create with Easter Party and with Spring Sprig, so make sure to share it with us. Thank you so much for watching and have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!